what was your favorite outfit on the show? Over.
For who? I particularly love the race car with Harper.
Yes. I still have that.
Those damn rubber duckies. Those rubber duckies that I had to keep.
They kept falling off. Because I remember, God bless you guys, because there were so many outfits that were not, they were perishable. Like the fruit roll-up dress, or like do you remember?
Did someone eat the fruit roll-up dress?
No, but they kept like falling off. They kept falling off because they're not meant to be on a dress. And do you remember the God, it smelled so bad. That
was it candy cane?
No, it was when you, me, and Jake, we were in the carousel.
Oh my God, that was after Coney I broke my shoulder.
Yeah. And it was beef jerky. And it smelled like shit. It smelled so bad. So we were like stuck in this like small thing. Do you remember that?
I do.
God, it smelled so bad. But I remember you so distinctly on so many of those outfits. They would just be falling apart. And especially like the fashion show episode. Because so many of that stuff was like not like sustainable. Like it was like paper or like.
Oh, I wanted to ask you this. Didn't at some point Disney was like, Selena has to wear these 6 different outfits. You have to work them into the show, because then they manufactured those outfits and then sold them at like Target or something.
Yeah, I
right?
don't remember this. Was this a thing?
Didn't that happen?
That was a weird thing that they did, that they would pay Julie separately for.
Tell us what you remember about that.
I remember it would piss people off, because I don't think Julie ever got any type of royalty for it. I think that they would have us do these photo shoots and then we'd never see anything again from it. And then later on it would appear on dolls.
That sounds a lot like Disney.
That sounds right.
They really
do the sound. Do the sound.
Disney. That's a running thing, by the way. It's just anytime something happens or they're cheap, you just Disney. That's what happens. I have another question for you. Were there any wardrobe mishaps other than David Henry's jeans being too tight?
Other than David Henry wanting his jeans to be that tight? No, I'm messing. Well, you sweat a lot. Do you remember that?
Oh my God.
I just did a spit take. Shannon.
That was something else.
It's all about me sweating, huh? That's the mishap? Thank you, Shannon. Next guest, please.
You get hot very easily.
Yeah, I mean, he was just, before we started this, he literally was like, I'm spitzing, I'm Italian, I run hot.
I'm embarrassed now.
Don't be embarrassed.
You know what I used to do? I would get ice water, and I would drink ice water to lower the temperature of my body.
And that set was freezing. You still ran hot?
Yeah. Well, I guess. I mean, we're under lights.
You're right.
That's true. That's true.
Doesn't that might mean you have a good metabolism, though?
Also, too, I wanted to know, so walk me through, what was the process for you guys? Because I remember doing like fittings, like Monday through Wednesday. But what was like the process on your end? Of getting everybody dressed and like setting up the costumes for all of
like per each show.
Yeah, for each episode. Yeah.
Well, so I mean, after you figure out the scripts, obviously, then you meet with all the producers. Then Disney comes and tells you what colors you could use.
Wait, they said what colors you could use?
Oh, yeah. Like you're not allowed to do black or white. And you have to do, every single person has to wear a different color. So if it turns out that you're wearing, say, blue, and later on in the day, Jerry's wearing blue, and you guys are together, you can't wear blue. Like, so we have to actually figure out, and do lineups and see who's in what color, and no one can be in the same shade. And then Disney likes to be like, well, can't you find like a salmon color or like some other situation that isn't that? So it basically, we have to create the rainbow for every scene, which is pretty much like when you look back at everything and you look at even the sets, everything is like a rainbow, right? And then when we go to run-throughs, that's why I would go to run-throughs. So I'd watch you guys. So let's say you were wearing an orange outfit and you sat on the orange couch. Then Jill and props would help me and put a pillow behind you, or we'd put a blanket on top.
Yeah, because we had the green pillows on the couch.
Yeah. So those were certain times where like if you wore something that clashed or sat next to something that maybe, or stood next to like a wall that was like I think the lockers were blue and yellow, right?
Yeah.
So if you stood next to a blue or yellow wall, you'd have to have some
Yes,
type
they
of prop
were.
to help you.
But what was the biggest, like mishap on the show other than David Henry's jeans?
Selena, all of her jewelry. So she'd always be in a
true.
rush to get back to set.
Yeah.
So there's many times where she would run to set and then I'd be running behind her, like carrying all of her accessories and making sure I could get it on her and checking my photos to make sure that all the continuity was good, especially during a live audience.
Right. And were we doing Polaroid photos then? No, it was over. Or did we?
We had digital.
We're not
we had
that
digital.
old.
Wait a minute,
God.
Shannon, take it easy. Just sit down. Oh, wait, you are sitting. But it used to be, for the people who are listening and don't know, that for wardrobe, you used to take a Polaroid picture of every single actor in every single scene, and you'd have 100,000 Polaroids, right?
No, we had a digital, because I remember you with the digital camera.
And we would call each other, like I would have a can with like a rope and David would have a can with a rope. And that's how
What? Huh?
What'd you say?
Wait,
and
hello?
Oh my God.
And whenever we would walk to set, it was uphill both ways, like in the snow.
In the snow. Oh my God. No, because we were rewatching. So we've been rewatching the first season.
Yeah.
And you know what I forgot? I forgot Selena had those freaking hand warmers. Do you remember that the first season? All she wore were those freaking like
gloves.
they were like the fingerless gloves or like the hand warmers.
Yeah.
And your
a little bit
question
ago.
to her, which Shannon, I didn't actually have to ask because she basically answered it 5 different times.
Don't you love the
but
glasses?
Your question
switch?
was, what is the one thing you feel the show gave you that no other show had topped ever, even now?
Yeah.
So she said several times that her feeling on the show was that we were the most genuine. Like our relationship with her is something that she's never been able to repeat in her life, kind of thing.
And she said it felt very safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think I felt that way too.
Yeah, she was super sweet. Mm-hmm. She's in New York right now doing her new show, which obviously is not as good as Wizards. No, I'm kidding. But she has a question for you, Shannon.
Oh my gosh. So apparently her question was, do you remember giving her the sex talk? That was her question for you.
Do you remember?
Which I can absolutely see happening, by the way.
Like she's still laughing.
Jen, I think you were there during one of them.
I think so.
Oh my God. I love that she actually, that's the question.
I know. I know. I thought the same thing. I was like, of all the questions, that's the question. But do you remember having that conversation with her?
I remember a few of them. Obviously, one stood out a little bit more to her. But, oh God, man, I have to say, like, it makes me just emotional. Oh, I'm going to get emotional.
It was a family.
Just thinking of just being with you guys. And
we were a family.
I always tell people this, like, because this was one of my first shows ever. It was my first show that I actually was a huge part of. I still remember Brian and Camera and Tom coming up to me and telling me when I was crying on our last show and saying, you have no idea how lucky we are. And you have no idea what a big show this is and how we're all family. This doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't, it just doesn't. And it's one of those things, like, cause now I've had children. It's one of those things that everybody says, you don't know a love until you have a baby, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And it's like, you know it, but you don't know it until it happens.
Yeah.
And now I've been like in the business for, I mean, I don't understand cause I'm still only 25 years old, but I've been in the business for like 20 years. And I haven't had that same feeling like that. It's just, it's special. So having those talks with you guys and doing your prom and doing a yearbook and watching you guys grow up was just such special memories, that I'll never forget. And we all got close. I mean, when you think about it, like Dave, I mean, we talk all the time. It wasn't like, oh, what's Shannon's number to get her? It's like, hey friend, do you want to talk for a little bit? That's how close we still are,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just special. I'll stop now.
No, it is.
It's lovely. And it's so interesting to me because I didn't realize that it was your first show beyond doing Charlie Wilson's War. But, I think it was a first for a lot of us in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? I'd never done a TV show before. And I know a lot of us hadn't done one that had, if we'd done one before, maybe not one that had gone that long.
You're right.
And so I hear that from a lot of us. And then just how impactful it was and how special it was. I mean, we just keep hearing that over and over. And I'm so thrilled that we all had this kind of shared experience that was the same.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching that clip of Wizards of Waverly Pod. For the full episode, go check it out on our Wizards Pod YouTube channel. The link's in the description. And for bonus content, weekly, join our Patreon. The link is in the description for that too. See you soon.